Well, it is getting to be winter time. We've already had a frost, a light frost, and but we're still looking mighty green, and that is because I sowed some winter rye. Now I already had some. It came up, it seeded itself out, so a lot of this is volunteer. In fact, this part right here is all volunteer. I seeded another place a lot heavier because I was where I'm gonna keep my sheep a lot. But as you can see, it's pretty nice and green. It's pretty low to the ground also because the sheep have been eating it. They're not eating hardly any hay, just a nibble every now and then. As the winter progresses, and this will burn a little bit when we get a real cold night, 20 degrees or so, then this will it'll burn this grass and stun it, and that's when they'll start eating something dry like hay. And this will also come back once the real cold weather's over with, and you know, for us it's not real cold, for all you folks up north, but once it starts warming up and the nights are in the 30s but not going down below that, then this grass will, even though it's been burnt, it will come back with a vengeance. And by March, before the summer grasses come up, like the coastal or the bahia or things like that, this grass will just, I mean, it'll get knee high. Animals won't be able to stay up with it, and then it'll head out. And then once it heads out, they start eating the heads a lot, but they don't eat enough of them to apparently to stunt the seed production or the seed drop, because all this here is from last year's. It's volunteer from last year's crop of ryegrass. But anyway, it will come back, and like I say, there'll be a huge. This will be tall in March and April, and then the summer grass will start coming out probably May. When it really warms up. Nights have to be above at 60 or above for summer grass to really grow well, and so this gives you a couple of months in the fall, good grazing, up until we get a real hard frost, a real hard freeze, and then it'll give you a couple of months grazing also in the early spring, late winter, early spring for us again. Down south, not up north, down south. So thought I'd share that with you, and maybe you want to next year. It's too late now. Next year would want to plant you some winter grass, winter rye. That's what this is. This is probably Gulf. It's been years since I planted this, so this is just keep seeding it, reseeding it yourself. But this is probably Gulf rye. I planted something this year that was a trapaloid or something. I'll try to see what that is, so we'll see what kind of planted. Nelson, I believe, triploid. I planted it in a different place. This is not it, but I planted it in a different place, and it just came up with gangbusters in about 3 or 4 days, and it's gonna do real well. It's a thicker bladed grass than this, so it's supposed to produce a lot more forage, because the grass itself, not because it seeds any better, but because the grass itself is thicker. Got a few of them on the hay bale. They just now came over there. Most of them are just going to graze on the winter grass. That roll has been sitting there for 2 months almost. It was so dry back in October I put out hay because they just didn't have any grass. But they got all this little green grass now. Winter rye. I like it. It's going to save me a lot on the hay bale. And again, if you don't mow it down, if you let it seed out, it will reseed itself, and you only have to plant it once. As long as you don't overstock and all the sheep or whatever eat the tops off of them, eat all the seeds, but that'd be hard to do. They make a lot of seed heads. Mine were steady on them seeds for a long time, but it still reseeded itself real nice. Some of this right here is the new grass that I planted, that triploid or whatever. And I can tell the difference. The blades on it, it's just a thicker thicker. It looks thicker because the blades are wider, thicker blades of grass. So most of this is, it already had some rye on it, but volunteer from the last time, years ago when I planted. But I did reseed this again. So some of this is the new grass. But they're tearing it up. They're tearing it up. And they're eating a little hay. And playing. And they're eating the pumpkins. I've only got about 4 or 5 of the sheep that'll eat the pumpkins. But as the winter wears on, if the pumpkins will last that long, they'll all probably gnaw on them a little bit. Once the green grass gets burnt a little bit, I bet you they all stay in the pumpkin some. That's the way I remember it last year. So I suspect that's what will happen this year. But the ram and about 4 of the ewes, 4 or 5 of them, I see them on the pumpkins. And I just cut one up, a big one, and put it in that little old blue dish for him. And he is tearing that sucker up. Put some weight on him. He got skinny trying to be amorous to all the girls. He got plumb skinny. So there's my sheep. Talked about winter grass. Talked about sheep. Shake it out. Shake it out, baby. And hey, even showed you some pumpkin eaters. Wow, you get a lot for your money, don't you? Alright, I'm gonna go before I get to say something stupid. Another thing they're doing is acorns. They have been tearing up the acorns. All these are oak trees. About all I've got. The big trees around here are all oak. This one, this one. I mean, I probably got 20 or 30 huge oak trees. And they have been tearing up for the last 2 months. They have been tearing up the acorns. They come through every morning, sniffing around on the ground. If they don't find anything, then they'll start grazing, but that's the first thing they want is those acorns. And boy, it's made them fat. I mean, look, she is a butterball. She's 2 months bred. 5 months gestation period. She's 2 months bred, and she is fat. Golly, she had twins last time. She's gonna get huge. She had twins last time, and she is just roly-poly fat. Look at that belly. And they should be kind of slimming down with the grass. As bad as the grass was in October, we had that dry spell. But they fat. Like I say, he's not fat. He's skinny. He's been working, but the rest of them have put on some weight from acorns. They've got a layer of fat. I like it. And as you know, God knows what He's doing. He lets the acorns drop in October, November, December, and preparing the animals, His animals, for winter. Put on that layer of fat for the winter. So He came, got him a couple of bites of hay. Now He's gonna come back to the pumpkins. And by the way, old Joe Fairlane was right. It took him about 2 weeks. And every one of these were bred. I sold a bunch of them off. I didn't tell you about that. I'm down to 12 ewes. I had 18, I had 21 or 22, something like that. And I sold all except 12 ewes and him. So he bred about over 20 in about 2 weeks. And he took care of him. He's a big boy. He still makes sure from time to time, make sure they're bred. He's gonna sniff of them, but he did a job. About 2 weeks. That's what Joe said, and he was right. I guess they all sync up. Once they start coming in heat, maybe all of them do or something. I don't know how it works, but they all came in within a couple of weeks of each other, and he nailed them. So that's good. Got another ewe. Kind of interested. I didn't know she was interested in the pumpkins, but she is. Anyway, we'll go.